So, you're thinking about learning Spanish, but maybe you're not quite sure where to begin? Well, I've got some great news. The first and most important steps have absolutely nothing to do with memorizing verb charts. Nope, it's really about starting a brand new journey. And we're going to map out that beginning for you right now.
Look, if you're feeling a bit overwhelmed, trust me, you are not alone. Starting a new language can feel like you're standing at the bottom of a huge mountain. You can see the top, but that path just looks so winding and intimidating. But here's the secret. That path is way clearer and actually a lot shorter than you think.
And that's because the most powerful tool you have for learning isn't some fancy app or a heavy textbook. It's all in your head. It's your mindset. See, success doesn't start with what you memorize, but with how you decide to approach the things you don't know yet.
You know, the most successful language learners, they all share one key trait. When they run into something new or confusing, they don't get frustrated, they get curious. And the goal is to consciously flip that switch in your own brain, to go from a feeling of frustration to a sense of fascination.
Exactly. Think of every time you try to communicate, not as some test you might fail, but as a cool puzzle you get to solve. It becomes an interesting challenge, maybe even a game. And that one little shift in perspective, it's going to change absolutely everything about how you learn.
Okay, so with that curious mindset locked in, let's talk about your first practical tool. This right here is your secret weapon, and it proves that you are not starting from scratch. Believe it or not, you already have a huge head start, all thanks to something called cognates. So what in the world is a cognate? Well, think of it like a freebie. It's a word you already know, because it's either the same or pretty darn close in both languages. And you're about to see just how many of these little gifts you already have packed away in your vocabulary. Just look at how close these are. Important becomes importante. Culture is cultura. Professor, profesor. See? You're not learning these from zero. You're really just adjusting the pronunciation a little. It's a small tweak, not a total translation.
And I'm not exaggerating, I mean it right now, this very second. Because of cognates, you already know hundreds of words in Spanish. You've had a foundation to build on this entire time and probably didn't even realize it. How cool is that?
All right, so you've got the mindset and you've got this built-in vocabulary. Now let's talk about who you're going to be able to talk to. Learning Spanish isn't just about learning words. It's about unlocking a massive global community. And the scale of that community, well, it's pretty staggering. That's right, we're talking 500 million people. Spanish is spoken on 4 different continents, and it's the official language of 20 countries. This isn't just a language. It's like a key that opens up a huge part of our world.
And to put that into perspective for you, the United Nations actually ranks Spanish as the 3rd most spoken language in the entire world, right behind Mandarin Chinese and English. So yeah, you're learning a language that truly connects the globe.
And you don't even have to travel that far to use it. Here in the United States alone, there are more than 40 million people who speak Spanish. That's over 12% of the population. And here's the fact that surprises pretty much everyone. The United States has more Spanish speakers than Spain does. Just let that sink in for a second. The language isn't just global. For so many of us, it's also local.
Now, with Spanish being spoken all over the world, you might be wondering, wait, is it the same everywhere? And the answer is, well, yes and no. There are some regional differences, but don't think of them as obstacles. It's better to think of them as unique local flavors. Let's break down the 3 main types.
First up is vocabulary. It's kind of like how some people say soda and others say pop. Different regions can have different words for the same exact thing. So, in Latin America, you'll probably hear la computadora for the computer, but over in Spain, you're more likely to hear el ordenador. Both are 100% correct. Next up is accent. Probably the most famous difference is how the letter Z sounds, or a C before an E or I. In Latin America, the word for shoe, zapato, is pronounced with an S sound, so zapato. But in most of Spain, it has more of a TH sound, zapato. So after hearing about all these little variations, you might be starting to worry. Oh no, will people understand me if I get it wrong? And the answer is a huge, resounding yes. Because the ultimate goal isn't perfect regional grammar. The goal is connection. The most important thing to remember is this. Despite all the different flavors of Spanish out there, communication is almost always seamless. A speaker from Mexico City can have a perfectly clear conversation with someone from Madrid. Understanding is truly universal. So, you've got the right mindset, you've discovered a built-in vocabulary of hundreds of words.
And now you hold a key to connect with 500 million people. The only question left to ask is, what's the first conversation you want to have? Your journey really does start right now.
Great! Another step towards fluent Spanish. Keep going with more lessons. Let's go! Let's go!